All right. Let's see if it connects. What is going on, good people? Give it a second. Yes. Okay. What is up, good people? Hanging out for a little bit. Answer some questions. Hope you're well. Got some pretty crazy. What's going on, Hiram? Dennis, how are you? Crazy denials. Crazy denials. Talked to a veteran today. Reached out and kind of blew me away a little bit. Like, you can't make up half of this stuff that sometimes we see at the VA. Addressing some denials and things like that. So I'll talk a little bit about that, hang out for a bit, show some stuff. We got class coming up next week for our last CMP class of the year. So wanted to share some of that, but literally got a veteran who got a denial, and his denial is dated in the future. Like, you literally can't make this up. He got denied. They didn't look at his things, shared it with me, and I'm just sitting there like, you can't make this up, man. You know what I mean? Never really put out people's business like that, but you sit there and I'm just like, wait, what? That's the whole thing, man. Sometimes when it comes to this thing of claims, you just never know. Veteran reaches out, you have a conversation, you be supportive. And my whole thing always is like, I always talk about claims in a way that's like akin to boxing. You know what I mean? Like, you may get, knocked out, right? Something happens that makes no sense. I'm not discrediting at all the feeling, because it sucks. Like, you did everything and the VA denies you and you're sitting there going, what? This don't make no damn sense. Like, what is this, right? But, in this veteran's case, he has support. He's able to reach out. He's able to ask questions. So that, it does help, but it doesn't take away from the fact that, you literally got denied, right? Like my mom used to say, you can step on my foot, but saying sorry, it does not take away the fact that my foot hurts. We get it. We understand the VA did it wrong, but man, it takes the winds out your sails. And in this case here, you got a veteran who's just sitting there trying to just figure out, what to do, and the VA denies you. But the denial makes no sense. So I really want to stress for people when it comes to VA claims, read your denial letters. Read your denial letters. I can't stress that enough, because of the fact that you have folks that just, you don't know what you don't know. And there are instances where they're not factoring in, the things that you have filed. The evidence isn't there. So that kind of defeats the purpose of, like, hey, if we're going to file a claim, we want to make sure the VA obviously pays attention, to the things that we have filed. But sadly, sometimes they don't even list the evidence there, right? So we want to make sure that we review the evidence, right? So that you review what was actually submitted with your claim. That's one of the biggest things there. And then on top of that, and I'll let some people kind of jump in before I really unpack some of that. But you really want to, be aware, like, this is the reality that we face sometimes, right? Let's see. What's going on, Victoria? Victoria says, not surprised. So shout out to, we are on TikTok, we are on Instagram, we are on YouTube, we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter X. For those that are just tuning in, especially for my TikTok crew, same username, Veteran DP on YouTube. Make sure you're also following there. I can't control what may or may not happen on TikTok, whether it remains, whether it gets banned. But biggest thing there is I want to make sure that we at least are tracking, where we'll be should things happen. Yes, I am having class on the 18th. That is the last CMP class of the year that I'll be doing. So the link in my bio, you'll see that there, and we have those discounts going for the rest of the year. So you can lock that in. this Thursday coming up. Yes, perfect. Yes, the subscribe button on YouTube. Let's see. Any concerns about the budget and them messing with our monthly compensation? So I'm gonna unpack that. I'm really so the question is a great question, right? Do I have concerns about the VA's budget situation? And the reality is that I don't necessarily get too worked up about this. I've literally have gone ad nauseum, when it comes to things at the VA that have been proposed. So, for example, I'll pull this up. If you check on my YouTube, which will probably be easier to find there, you'll see instances where, like, let's look for popular ones. The proposed rating changes, or when there was the budgetary, concerns of, the OBM, having cuts for our benefits. So, like, this is a thing that happens quite a lot. So I've always made a point to talk about a lot of these different things, whether it's changes in policy, whether it's, what's going to happen, are our benefits under attack. This is a big one here, specifically where there was this whole thing of they're going to cut our benefits and what's going to happen and yada, yada, yada. There's a lot of moving pieces when it comes to this whole concept, but that's the page there, Veteran DP. Let me actually pull up. So there is actually, me actually pull that here. So this is something I'm going to unpack separately. But while people are losing their minds, I would offer to you literally a brand new report that just came out. And in this report, there are literally instances where, again, the OIG, and I bring this up almost all the time when I talk about our CMP classes, I bring up this a lot when it comes to the error rate in this here videos that I have up. I talk about veterans benefit under attack. This one right here, again, on YouTube's 68% error rate on decisions. So this is specifically even for the veteran who was denied tonight, who shared with me his situation, and I'll bring some of that up too. But this video here actually comes from this report. There is a 68% error rate when it comes to denials. I'm not making it up. It literally says it right there. 68% of the time, specifically to you, my vet who reached out. Instances where, what you see behind me, it says claim processors did not consistently identify relevant medical evidence for the examiner to review. The veteran is saying, I look at the letter and it doesn't even list the things I submitted, right? Like, wow, you can see right there, this is literally a thing. Or they did not always use adequate language or request proper examinations, etc. And these failings will lead to inaccurate medical opinions, incorrect decisions, delays, etc., etc., right? So in this case, what's crazy about the veteran who sent me, like little screenshot of his thing, his denial literally did not factor the evidence that was in there. He has a solid claim, solid case, and the letter literally is dated in the future. So he has an ACE exam where they don't call him in, but the VA says, hey, on this day, the examiner made an opinion. Now, here's the crazy part, right? We're having this conversation on the 12th. The decision letter says that the exam happened in person on December 19. 7 days in the future, they're saying that the doctor said least likely than not. You literally can't make this shit up if you wanted to. You know what I'm saying? So to the question about what now may happen for the future things, I ain't gonna put you out there. I ain't gonna put you out there, brother. But if you let me, I will show the little screenshot with the date. So, I always keep things anonymous, but my brother's like, hey man, that's me, I own it. I ain't gonna put you out there, man. But if people need to hear these things because it is very, daunting, because again, here we are trying to solve a problem and, lo and behold, here is, the daggone, facts of reality. So here is an actual new IG report that says staff incorrectly processed claims when denying veterans. This is the new one. So the one I just showed you was literally from September 2022. Oh, DP, that's old news. Okay. December 3, 2024. And in here, we're finding instances where service connection for claim disabilities can be established in many different ways. We've established that, presumptives and things like that. But in turn, things that they found were that the VA was actually messing things up. Shock and surprise. They found claim processors did not consistently follow procedure. Oh, wait a second. Hold the presses. I just told you that was the case from 2022. Guess what? Fast forward, they're still messing up. So I get the concern for the budgetary things, but the fact is there are inefficiencies that sadly are going to be addressed. In the review, they identified about $1.4 million in unnecessary cost for unwarranted examinations. So my brother files a claim and they call him in for the wrong exam. Like, trust me, there's going to be changes. There's going to be efficiencies. There will be cuts. But just because there might be $1 million cut, you're thinking, oh, they're coming for my rating. No, they're coming for these bozos who are being paid to do a job. And here's the problem, right? Follow me now. Tag a vet, let them know. This report from 2022 shows that the VA should be more accurate and improve. Fast forward, apparently they have not been very accurate and have not improved if they're still fucking up. I'm sorry, it's just the facts. So now here's the reality. And again, this is all PAC Act stuff too. So we're blasting the PAC Act failures because PAC Act gives us everything unless apparently you fell into this, trailer load of mess. But in this report from 22, look at this number right here. And this is why I take the tone that I take. And I don't apologize. I understand that I can come across like an asshole sometimes when it comes to these things. But guess what? It has to be called out and it has to be said. Because when it's all said and done, there's $6.8 billion. So when everybody's talking about, oh, monies and this and that, here's the reality. The VBA committed $6.8 billion with a B, bravo, in contracts to complete disability examinations for you, my fellow veteran. So this money is being put aside, billions of dollars. And in turn, what's happening is they're not following protocol. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. So, make sure, I hear myself. So veterans are subject to examinations that have been, money has been put aside for it. Got it. But $6.8 billion. So the issue here is now, fast forward to a new report. From this time frame, they showed, again, I showed you 68% error rate, right? That's what we had here on this side of the house as identified. So when I say these numbers, I don't want to think like, oh, some talking head in a weird little hoodie said this. It's what the OIG report said. Fast forward to this PAC Act stuff, because again, we're looking at specifically disabilities for now all these claims for PAC Act that went in. And they found instances here where there was a failure in so many shapes, fashion, or forms. They identified underpayments totaling about $56,000 for two veterans, for example, and instances where there was about, in the review period, right, a approximate denial rate of about 45%, where there were 1 or 2 or 3 types of errors of either overdevelopment, needing needless exams, monetary impact, or potential impact. 45% of the time, they fucked the PAC Act claims too. And someone's going to get up in their feelings about, oh, no, that's not how the VA. I don't give a fuck what you say. This is what the damn thing says. We're real quick to point fingers at everybody else, but the fact is there are great people at the VA. I'm not discrediting that. But don't go ahead and piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. There are also instances where we're fucking up. Because at the end of the day, oops, we messed up. Well, oops, my ass. If the veteran who reached out today literally has no support, he gives up because he says, you know what, I got denied. Why am I even going to fight this? Right? The denial is so egregious that it makes no bloody sense. And I want you to see this. So I'm pointing these things out because I want us to understand realistically what exactly is it. So check this out. They have a time machine. This is literally what the veteran experienced. This is literally like a screenshot he sends me. The examiner stated on December 19, 2024, that the claim condition is is least likely than not. And the likelihood is less, blah, blah. Forget that. Zoom in, cameraman behind me, which is me. On December 19, my brother gets denied. But wait a second. It was an ACE exam. The ACE exam is an administrative exam that is not taking place in person. So he doesn't have to show up. They're doing it administratively. But then they're saying that he was examined in person on the 19th. The exam was scheduled for a Monday that just passed. Today's the 12th, right? So help me understand, because, I'm not, I went into the Army. I was in, Space Force cadet. It's the 12th. So he may have had an exam on the 9th, and they're saying that the denial for the exam that happened in person was the 19th? What in the George Jetson is going on here? Make it make sense. But if this veteran doesn't read the denial, doesn't look at the evidence submitted, like most veterans, he says, you know what, fuck it, I don't want to do this shit anyway. And it sucks. And it's plain as day that this is a horrible denial. Hiram says, is the denial dated December 19th, 1924? You know what I'm saying? Is that the date of the denial? It might well be. The exam happened in the future. The denial was in the past. You can't make this up. You know what I'm saying? It's literally Homie the Clown working over there. This is the facts. This is what's really happening. How do you deny that a claim condition, the examiner, help me understand. So when we go back to what I literally am just showing, because again, keep it right there. So we have instances here where we are having overdevelopment of claims, where claim processor requested unwarranted examinations into the future, apparently. Monetary errors or claims occurs when claim processors improperly deny service connection for presumptives, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Potential impact errors where they failed to gather all evidence, denying claims, all the things submitted, they were denied, they were ignored, etc. At the end of the day, the team determined BVA employees were not consistently applying guidance regarding requests for examinations and presumptives. They're not always interpreting similarly what constitutes competent medical evidence, which are required to obtain said things. This led to the claim processor sometimes requesting unwarranted exams and contribute to overdevelopment. Additionally, they were not consistently recognizing presumptive conditions that do not require medical opinions to establish a link in service. You were in the Gulf. You have respiratory conditions. What the fuck do we have to prove this shit for? Vietnam, Agent Orange exposure. We have presumptives for conversations. But yet, oh no, DP, that's not what I was told. I get what everybody's saying. I understand there's talking heads, but show it to me. I'm not here to just try to get the rise out of you with glamorous things. I'm showing you that a veteran literally sends me a message and says, you won't believe this. And with what I do, I see everything. So I'm like, what you got, Playboy? And he's like, I got denied. And I'm like, all right. He's working with one of my advisors. And, I'm like, okay, we have a plan of action. He's like, but they denied me in the future. I'm like, huh? Sends me the screenshot. I'm like, what? What is happening? Someone make it make sense. So we have a lack of consistency. We have a lack of protocol being followed. Again, I love it. PACAG, claim vultures, all this crap. Look, forget all that shit. The system itself is fucked. I didn't make these rules. I'm just reading it to you, the facts. So when I told you that they have a 68% error rate back in 2022, oh, this is just hyperbole. Okay. And when I told you that they put aside $6.8 billion for these CMP exams, it's hyperbole. Okay. Fast forward, you're going to file that PACAG claim because you chat GPT'd it up. Okay, that's cool. That's cute. But how cute is it when you still got fucking denied because they weren't doing the damn job correctly? And then you have instances where something that literally is plain as day gets ignored, again, in some shape, fashion, or form, in the future, apparently, as we just discussed. The examiner stated on December 19, 2024, the condition is least likely as not. It was an ACE exam. It wasn't an in-person exam. So I wanted to talk about these things because you have to see this for what it is. It doesn't matter how prepared you get to do something. This is the reality. Take it to the media, not take it to the media. The fact is, most veterans are just going to give up. So for me, really talking about this is saying, hey, this is the reality, not to shit on the system. It's the government. Stop romanticizing this concept like the VA loves you. The VA loves me as much as the DMV loves me. It's a government agency. There are good people in there, but stop romanticizing things to the system cares about me. The system doesn't give two flying fucks about shit. It's a system. You're a number. It's the truth. Like the DMV. Get a number, wait till you're called. Does that mean there's bad people and actors at the DMV? Absolutely not. But the VA has had very wasteful spendings. They have systems that are outdated, redundancies that are not redundant, a staff that is overworked and undermanned. It's just the facts. So we get so wrapped up in the minutia, and the fact is the veterans denied, and we have these issues. Let's go over to TikTok side of the house. Josh on YouTube side says that part. You literally can't make this stuff up. For those tuning in, man, let me know the branch of service, the years you served. That helps to know kind of who we have in the chat. If you haven't followed me on YouTube for my TikTok crew, head on over there where I literally break these things down, and I'll be covering a lot of the stuff, especially with the budgetary things, Doge, all that stuff. Veteran DP is the username on TikTok because, on Instagram, on YouTube, because I can't dictate what's going to happen with TikTok. But I'm DP, founder of Veterans Network Champions Club, my organization. You'll find more about me and what we do here back on the link in my bio, but more importantly, I'm not only a disabled Army combat veteran, I'm retired from federal law enforcement. So I worked in government, I was in Homeland Security, I ran programs, I was an adjunct professor as well. So that means I understand policy because I wrote policy at the government level. I understood budgeting because I did part of budgeting. When I talk about the VA's programs that are outdated, I know this because in 2015, I was at Apple headquarters representing Homeland Security with, guess what? Office of Information Technology for the VA as well. And I saw the initial apps they were working on for the mobile apps we have today. So I understand technology. I understand a lot of these things. I understand how programs work. I'm not a guy who won a claim yesterday and now I'm just the claims guy. No, I've been in the space for a bit in different capacities. So when it comes to what the government will do and how things have to happen and what potential changes may come and the overcost of the IT modernization of the VA that is nowhere near modernized and has still been spending money like there's no tomorrow, sadly, there will be changes. There'll be cuts, yes. But we default to think that means my rating's going away. Stop. That's not how it works. There are things that are wrong in the system. I just showed you behind me, we have millions of dollars that literally were assessed to be incorrectly spent and veterans underpaid because decisions were done incorrectly. It's just the facts. They identified instances, again, in a small statistic group where millions of dollars in unnecessary costs, for warrant examinations. Think about it. I just told you back here that there's $6.8 billion in exams. And then now fast forward, they're saying millions of dollars were wasted on needless exams. Unwarranted exams means just that. So there's places to cut these fucking corporations that are being paid by the VA. While you're over here freaking circle jerking on some, the VSO said this, the lawyer said that, the private company here, these companies doing these exams are fucking up and collecting money. So it's not that, $1.4 million was lost. It's that these goddamn contractors were paid $1.4 million to examine the wrong fucking things and you still got denied. That's the facts. Sometimes we get lost in the noise. Don't get distracted. Nobody's talking about, QTC's fucking up. VES is fucking up. LHI is fucking up. Like, nobody talks about these folks. There's no malicious intent. It's just saying that there are incorrect things happening. Because if the VA is asking for the wrong thing, these companies are just doing their jobs. So I ain't even mad at them. Because who requested the exam? Bing, bing, bing. But a rate is going to get all up in their feelings because, oh, DP, that's not, you don't understand. I don't give a fuck what you understand. Do you understand? I'm glad that you do great things, but someone else fucked up at the expense of the overspend of money. It's just the facts. But more importantly, what I want to stress is that should you be denied or should you have to run into this headache, again, back to the veteran who was denied in the future, apparently. On December 19, he was found that he was not blah, blah, blah. First of all, the exam was last Monday. It was the ACE exam, so he didn't have to go in person. But then they said, oh, this happened in person. You literally can't make this shit up if you wanted to. All right, let's see. Well, yeah, and again, there goes the PAC Act things, right? It's definitely worth filing these things, but my whole thing is like, I don't like when people, if you have a presumptive, yes, you can file your claims, but my problem is that you have to have context as to what you're filing, because you can Google something and then you get a denial and you don't know where to stand on. You need to have support. They fucked up this denial. This is wrong. This will be appealed. But there are many veterans out there that don't read past denied. They don't see the evidence submitted. You get a denial, read the denial. What evidence did I submit? Was that evidence listed? Where are the things I said review, VA? Oh, you did not review that thing? Why did you not do that thing? Error number 1. So the evidence list of what I give the VA is not listed on my denial letter, first issue. Then why did you deny me? And what are you saying that I don't have to merit your position? Why is your evidence conflicting with mine? What's the rationale? Read it. And if you don't know how to read it, find someone to help you read it. But just don't settle, because again, how did the examiner determine in the future, oh, but it's a grammatical error, DP? Well, guess what? If you can't even know what day you're in, how the flying hell are you going to award somebody correctly their situation? You're doing everything right. You're going to the doctor. You have your diagnosis. You came to my class. You've done it all right. But then some shit goes the wrong way. That's why I talk about in my class, for example, being ready to push back, to fight back. Because sometimes things do not go according to plan. Sometimes things don't go as we intended them to go. I'll bring this up here because I think it's pertinent. If we're looking at, going to our CMP, I know someone's going to say, oh, but, I just looked up something and you just go in there and tell them what you're dealing with. Stop it. I'm glad it worked for you, but it's not at times going to work for all. So when I, for example, look at, acing your CMP, right, specifically, and I'm bringing this up because, yes, shameless plug. Next Wednesday is the last one for the year. But this is why. Because if we're going to talk about something, first of all, what is a CMP? Do you know? You don't know the lay of the land. What are we dealing with? First of all, I can't contest a CMP if I don't know what it is. What is expected of me? What not to expect? What constitutes a bad CMP? How to respond and push back if you have a bad CMP? Preparation tips in the Q&A. Because instances like this, where there are issues where a veteran gets denied in the future, guess what? A lot of things went wrong here that we have to be able to then fight back and push back in some shape, fashion, or form. You have a CMP where things are happening, red flags are there. We identify these red flags. We're reporting the CMP exam. But in this case, the veteran didn't even have a CMP exam. It was an ACE exam, and they still apparently thought that it was great to just tell them that in the future they got denied. The veteran says, when the VA clearly and factually messes up, does the veteran get any retribution during the appeal process, considering the claim was erroneous considered the first time? So no, it'll get awarded. There'll be no no consolation prizes per se. But when you win your claim, in turn, what ends up happening is you reserve your back date and so forth. So obviously your compensation is really the utmost things, but there won't be like any damages or anything like that, right? Because that would be crazy. What I mean? Not me saying it, more so as far as like the VA side of the house. Hiram said that was the AI system that examined him next week and forgot and sent out the stuff a little too early, right? So there's that part. Oh, Lord Jesus. But again, I digress. So these are some things that I want to at least, kind of touch on. Again, we're talking the CMP exams next Wednesday because I think it's pertinent to talk about these things for sure. But when it comes to denials, again, like the one that, prompted me to pop in and have this conversation. And more so because, again, I'm also making a point to pop in and just kind of shamelessly plug it in that, hey, in case TikTok goes away, same username on YouTube. So, yeah, follow me there because I don't know what may happen in this crazy space, right? If we're filing claims, regardless of how you file it or where you go, make sure that you get support. Make sure you have, a sounding board. Make sure that you have the ability to ask questions. I talked to a veteran yesterday and his wife, and, he said he got some help from someplace, but he literally felt like it was like pulling teeth. He felt like they were combative and they were not paying attention to him, and the person supporting was feisty if questions were asked. And I taught our class yesterday, navigating VA claims, and another person was like, this is the support and help and Q&A I thought I was going to get somewhere else. And I'm like, look, I can't dictate what anybody else does, but I like doing things a little bit differently. I like teaching classes. I like doing things live. I'm creating different things, and we have our, BDD course for our active duty people. Links in my bio, so you'll see all those things there. And we're finishing up and redoing. So I'll probably have a new slide deck for next Wednesday for our ACMP class. So every quarter I update things with new facts and things. But I'm also outlining the new course for our ACMP on demand, right? Because I personally love doing that. So again, I'm disabled. I'm a disabled Army veteran, first responder at 9/11. So New York City, I was there. Then Iraq, the whole 9 yards. In English, that means I'm on a lot of registries for my lungs because I was exposed to all these different things. But then I went to Homeland Security. I was an air marshal. I worked in counterterrorism, and then I went to headquarters, and I was there for a bit. Represented Homeland Security at the War College at the Marine Corps University. Fun fact, Army at the Marine Corps University. And from there, I went to teach, and I was an adjunct professor at university for a little bit. And at the end of the day, all my disabilities kind of got to a head, and I had to take a medical retirement because I could no longer do my duties. And that kind of sent me down this rabbit hole of claims. And something you'll hear me say at class, if you come, is that regardless of my background and the things that I've done, those things did not help me solve the VA claim process. I want to talk, at least for someone out there, right? VA claims will make you feel dumb. They'll make you feel like you're saying something that doesn't make sense to people. And it's not a competency thing. I have various master's degrees. I taught at university, right? I have a bunch of certifications and done a whole bunch of things. I've written policy. I've done budgetary requests. I ran our technology department for Homeland Security, and I supported our entire agency with many initiatives and a lot of fancy shit that sounds cool. That didn't solve the problem for VA claims. So I'm saying that because it's not like, oh, look at me, I did fancy things. It's more me saying that it's not a competency test. It doesn't matter what you know or what you've done. That doesn't correlate here. VA claims is a different language. And I want to always start the conversation that way because every conversation I have with a veteran is always like, hey, DP, I have a question, but it's a dumb question. There are no dumb questions. There are no dumb questions. If you don't know how to fight, there are no dumb questions. You don't know how to fight. So get in the ring, and I will show you how to box, right? Let's work on your footwork. Let's work on your hand placement. Let's work on your fitness, right? If you don't know how to shoot, let's work on drills. Let's look at marksmanship, breath control, trigger squeeze, right? You have to learn these things. When it comes to claims, it's almost blasphemous to what we have been trained to do. You suck it up, you drive on, you drink water, rub some dirt on it, take a Motrin, and move on. But here I'm asking you to bare your soul that you have something impairing. You think it was fun for me to have to ring the bell and leave a job at a top secret clearance working headquarters? No. Trust me, like I enjoyed being around the world and traveling and doing things in that life, but that had to end. So it's not a thing of, competency, but it's about coming to grips with, hey, I had to be honest that I'm not the person I was. I can't do the things I used to. We are developing at times or have issues that are medical in nature, and they afflict us, right? So this is the reality of the things that we deal with as veterans. But sadly, we do not know what we do not know, right? So for this evening, one of the things that I found very pressing is that, yes, I got your attention because we're saying these crazy denials. But even if you get a denial dated in the future, as ridiculous as this is, there's a way forward. There's a way to fight back. There is a way to appeal. But if you don't know to get back in the fight, then you don't know. So I'm big on the fact of getting context and support because, yeah, it sucks. You know what I'm saying? But we have to understand what we're doing. We have to understand why we're doing something specifically, right? One of the things I covered this week specifically, and I always cover it in my classes because, again, I'm going to touch more on this whole budget thing and what'll happen and Doge and all that. I'm all up to speed on that stuff. I just don't like the politics of things because I find that it's just we get lost in the weeds. But specifically to this, and I'm gonna start answering some questions too, so I'll be catching up here in a second on that. But this behind me, I always bring it up. This comes from, here's a lesson for you. Every year, the VA puts out an annual benefit report, an ABR, right? So this is specifically the ABR for 2023. And the ABR, the annual benefit report, it comes out every year. So I'm not giving you fancy numbers here. I'm giving you the population, right? There's 18.3 million veterans. That's the census. Out of that, we have 5.7 million veterans that are receiving benefits. Out of that, we have 1.3 million veterans who are 100%. Which means the following, right? Oh, every veteran out there, that's why we have no money because everybody out there getting 100. Be quiet. Be quiet. Respectfully. There's 18 million veterans and there's 1 million that are 100%. Just because 10 vets who are 100% does not mean every veteran is 100%. Stop it. Not every veteran is disabled, but clearly out of 18, 5. And out of 5, 1. So that's the facts, right? But it's easy to get lost in the sauce and thinking, oh, I'm not going to file a claim because that's why we're going to lose our benefits. You're the reason why. I would offer to you, as I just told you here, that $1.4 million were literally misspent by the VA on examinations that were erroneously processed. Are there things that should be cut? Of course. Should standards and processes be put in place? Of course. But that $1.4 million that was spent did not go to the benefit of the veteran. It was misspent for erroneous examinations. Brand new OIG report. I'll do a standalone thing for it and walk through it. On my YouTube channel, I went over the whole instance of the budgetary cuts that were coming back in, over a year and change ago. I talked about the error rate over 2 years ago of the 68% error rate of this specific one that I just brought up. $6.8 billion in money put aside for CMP exams, and they were done wrong. So again, follow my YouTube. I talk about these things. I just don't do all the fancy hooks sometimes like some of these other talking heads, and that's fine. But this is the reality. So I'm mentioning this because then if we go back to this, these are the facts. Some veterans are out there saying, I'm not going to file a claim because somebody told you something. Well, who told you that? Not the system. So, I want to impress upon you that not all veterans are disabled. I don't believe that. I don't believe every veteran's 100%. I don't believe that. I understand the feeling like the VA should give everybody 100%. I get it, but that's not realistic. Will there be cuts? Yes. Will there be changes? Yes. But that's something that happens in government, right? We have appropriations that are expired. I talked about this briefly. And for these appropriations and earmarks money to be reapproved, they're going to have to be examined. And there are things that we keep saying we need more money to fix, but if we're not fixing it, there are contentions in place for VHA healthcare, right? There's rumors and conversations of privatizing things. And that sounds sensational and crazy, but logistically, how do these things happen, right? The government moves slow. It's cute to say the Department of Government Efficiencies and all that, but, Doge or not, Elon or Vivek or not, the reality is that these things take time, right? This is a very big ship. I'm Army, but I will say this. You just can't turn a ship on a dime. It's just the facts. We're running a skeleton crew. We have a backlog at the VA that is staggering, continues to grow. These failures I'm pointing out is also because we just have understaffing. We have a revolving door. I have at least 4 VSRs and a few RVSRs that I know that have left the VA for their own reasons. It's hard to keep people in a place where it's a quantity game and not a quality game, right? That's another conversation for another day. So, file your claims, the ones that you're entitled to fight for sure, but read your denials should you get them. Have a plan of action, have support, right? Politics and sadly social media is very sensational. And what I mean by that is that if I label this live, the VA will lose all its money, and I put some fancy crap behind me to make it sound whatever, I get all the hits and all the views, right? We'd have this thing shared all over the place because sensational stuff gets attention. But the fact of the matter is that doesn't solve problems. I'm more of from the perspective, again, I come from counterterrorism. I come from that line of work. Will there be bad days and bad things that can happen? We train for the worst, we expect the best. If changes come, we prepare for those changes. Oh, DP, they're going to change the rating criteria for all these things and blah, blah, blah. Guess what? 2 years ago, I talked about that. Everybody here now thinks they're talking about the proposed changes for sleep apnea, tinnitus, and shit. 2 fucking years ago, I read it to you. My whole point is, like, changes will come. There'll be threats to our programs and our benefits. But I thought we came from the military. I thought we came from a place where we assess the terrain and we have a plan of action and we position ourselves to fight efficiently. Not just sitting here running in circles, losing our goddamn minds because we're scared because I'm talking fucking head says tomorrow all this shit's going away, but they can't reference where it's coming from. A few talking heads on these here social medias were talking about the fact that, oh, these benefits are going away effective tomorrow. Who told you that? Well, I just read it in a letter that was internal someplace. Fast forward 6 months, nothing's happened. Because they're full of fucking shit. They're just trying to get your attention. Politics, to get your attention. We're going to get rid of something to get your attention. This is what happens. We respond out of anxiety. We respond out of fear. If I tell you, you can go for an increase, you'll say, DP, somebody else needs it more than I do. But I promise you, if you get a letter in the mail that says, we're going to reduce you, you'll be in my inbox so fucking quickly that it will literally break your fingers. We won't fight for more, but we will kill to not lose what we have. So that's just the reality. I understand that. Programs coming, new things coming, no one cares. But they're going to take our stuff? Oh, wait a second. One veteran reached out and said, I literally fought for 5 years to get my benefits. I don't want to lose them. I said, I understand how you feel. We need to be calm, cool, collective. I'll be having conversations with different organizations that I'm a part of. I'm closely working with the NAVR, the National Association of Veteran Rights, with Peter O'Rourke and them, and there's conversations we're having about these different things and other people that I'm collaborating with. So we have to have cool, calm, collected conversations. We cannot just let emotion grip us. So I get it, but I would offer to you, however you choose to get support, you want to have someone to be able to be in your ring corner. I am the most empathetic person. It's literally this time at night. Find me another fucking CEO of one of these organizations to show the fuck up. No, they'll replay videos all the fucking time, but they won't show up because that takes time. This matters to me. I teach a class every Wednesday night. I've done it for the last 5 years. Why? Because it matters to me. Not to do this, but because it matters to me. One veteran at a time. So when it comes to this conversation of claims, my thing is I am the most empathetic person you might meet. Obviously, I know my shit. The proof is in the pudding. But I will say this. When it comes to fighting and we're in the fight, I have no emotions. Because if I'm your corner, man, and I'm supporting you to do something, like when this veteran got this letter, and it literally said, we're denying you in the future. Again, literally got this letter, for those tuning in, a denial. He had an ACE exam. ACE means he doesn't have to come in person. And they said, we saw you in person, and we're denying you off of this exam that happened in the future. So when we're working to put something together, yeah, I'm listening to you. I just had a conversation today with a veteran who literally is filing an MST claim after 30 years. Him and his wife. I talked to both of them. I'm doing one-on-one calls. And during that time where we're working towards something, you have my attention. But once we file and once we're in the fight, I'm like a ring man. My team, it's like I use boxing as an example. We're gonna train, we're gonna get right, we're gonna do everything right, we're gonna submit the right claim, all that thing, great. But once we're in the fight, I'm in your corner like a cut man. You come in here with a big old knot in your eye and you bleeding, and my man says, "Oh my goodness, my eye, I can't see right. DP man, I'm seeing doubles." Shut the fuck down, man. Take a breather. Cut man, patch him up. What's going on? What happened? I'm not gonna commiserate with you. Right? We need to understand too that when you need help, you need someone to be there with you to support, not to freak out. People reach out to me, DP, I'm scared, man. I might lose my benefits. If I lose my benefits, I'm going to get evicted. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I'm living off my disability payments. I cannot afford to lose this. I am terrified. I understand. We got this. I understand. We have to have cool, calm, collected voices, not talking heads out here scaring the fuck out of you. That's my problem. Oh, they're going to do this. Shut the fuck up. How does that help someone who's living paycheck to paycheck, compensation to compensation, depending on their benefits to stay alive, and now you're telling them it's all going away? Thank you, Captain fucking Obvious. How does that help anyone? I'm not negating things may happen, but we've got to understand, how do we do the business of combat? Hey, y'all, they're shooting at us. We ain't going to make it. We ain't gonna make it. Oh my goodness, they got pew pews coming at us. Oh my God, they're dropping stuff from the sky. The hell happened to you? When did you become such a little bitch? I thought you were a Marine. I thought you were a fucking sailor. Like, you know what I mean? I'm being facetious here. My point is, like, we need to have leadership to get through hard times. These are hard times. I don't give a fuck where you sit on politically. But we don't get anywhere losing our cool. My problem is that our veteran population is afflicted with valid mental health conditions, and these talking heads do not fucking help. Fancy talking heads with fancy fucking names do not help a veteran who is already rated for PTSD and anxiety, and now here comes the talking heads on some, oh my God, we're gonna lose it all. What in the world is happening here? What in the E4 Mafia fuck is going on? Bad times will come, but violent men stand ready at the gates to do the business of what we did. Don't forget where we came from. We come from a business of combat. We come from a business of violence. Remember who the fuck you are. We earned our benefits. We will fight for those benefits, but not at the expense of fucking bitching out and pissing on ourselves. Calm the fuck down. Are you entitled to feel how you feel? Yes. But I'm telling you, tune the fuck in. Calm down. We're going to cross bridges as we get there. Because again, you were losing, not you, I'm being facetious now, but literally 2 years ago, they proposed that things were going to go away. DP, they're going to change the rating criteria. And I told you to calm the fuck down because that's not how it works. Because literally our benefits were under attack by Congress proposing cuts. I told you to calm the fuck down. That's not how it works. Oh, the VA has an error rate. They keep denying me. And I told you to calm the fuck down. That's not how it works. We cross bridges as we get there. We have to be cool, calm, and collective. That's how you win battles. That's how you win wars. That's how we win claims. Not sitting here pissing our pants and running from one talking head to another talking head with no background or substance as to what they're saying. That's all I'm saying. You are valid in your fear. I understand. You're scared right now. There's nothing wrong with being scared. You think combat is not scary? Combat is scary. Boxing is scary. But we train for this. We know why we filed. We know why we're rated. We know what we're impaired by. Those things haven't changed. But DP, they're gonna change the rating criteria for these things. And what does that mean? Oh, sleep apnea is going away. No, it's not. They're just changing it from required CPAP to CPAP's not effective. I know the changes, they're coming. So guess what we do? We adjust. Fire. That's it. We encounter an obstacle, we adjust. A change in rating, we adjust. The disability is a disability is a disability. Especially when I texted you about this an hour ago, best response time. Yeah, literally, my man hit me up and I'm like, oh, what's going on? Like, we do this. You know what I'm saying? The whole point is we have to be there for our people because I justify and I know how you feel. I get that. But it's my job to also be able to reel you back in and kind of get you back in the fight. Like I told him straight up, take an 8 count, take a knee, then you get back up. It sucks. Again, you cannot make this up. And that's why, again, I'm making a point to try to go live every evening here as this whole TikTok thing may happen, to inform you all that obviously, we're on YouTube as well. So again, shameless plug, because, it is what it is. So if something happens, same username on that side of the house. There it is. Shameless plug. And then next Wednesday, we're doing an HCMP class. But when it comes to this veteran got this in his denial. The examiner stated on December 19 that the claim condition is less likely than not, approximately blah, blah, blah. First of all, that's the part that made no sense. On December 19. Hold on there, man. It's December 12. What in the fast future Jetson is going on here? You know what I'm saying? It's comical. But the veteran is facing a denial. Solid claim. All things are there. And got denied in the future. Wow. So as ridiculous as this sounds, take hope in the fact that the system does get it wrong. But we have to examine the denial letters. We have to know what we're up against and be ready to punch back. The system gets it wrong. The system gets it wrong. That's just the facts. Won't fight for an increase, but will fight when threatened for a decrease. Arrow on YouTube. 100%. And I get it. We don't want more, man. We just want what we're due. I got it. But if someone is at the door trying to take what is ours, not today. Not today. How are you, Claudia? We work with you and support you in that process, Claudia, depending on what you may need. The fear is real. Man, look, as real as it gets on TikTok. Class on the 18th, yes. We touched on presumptive. Aside from fraud, how can you lose the PNT? Fraud is a big one there for sure. And if there's a factual error as to how that was determined to be given to you as well. There are instances with our errors grammatically, but they don't happen as much as you may think. Great question, though. Let me catch up here. 100% PNT. Check. Denies because it's worded wrong. Mama Bell, how are you? I got lucky with my local VA, and trust me, I got veterans winning all the time and all that good stuff, right? But I'm also empathetic to the fact that while someone's winning, someone's losing. While someone's getting approved, someone's getting denied, right? So from my vantage point, I see everything. I see this kind of nonsense, and then I also see someone else who finally, after 20 plus years, is able to finally get rated for an MST that happened 20 years ago. So there's so many things that are happening for me. So when I talk about stuff, I'm always coming at this from a very unique place because I understand my reach and my voice and who I'm affecting and how these things happen. So for me, it's a message of hope. It's not a sexy message, but it's a message of hope. It's a message that I understand. It's a message that you can file a claim. It's a message that your story and your truth is enough. When I teach my classes, it's about helping you do something. What qualifies me to talk about these things? I just told you I worked in counterterrorism, in psychology, forensic psychology. That's my fucking background. That's what I did. We study people. I'm good at what I do for a reason. I understand psychology. I understand the facts of a case and how to present them and argue these things. When you're filing a claim, you're arguing statements of facts and medical conditions. This is a fact. So we have to have strategy. We have to be understanding of the process and then be able to play the game as needed. And when I use the word play the game, I don't mean game the game. I mean be able to follow the steps needed, because if you don't know what the steps are, you're not going to be successful. So that to me is why I really like having the things that we do the way that we do them. But for those that were successful, good. Now we got to help the ones that were not. Should we be concerned with no. I just literally went on a rant for that, so I'm just catching up here. My wife filed the BDD claim, got her 2/14/28. When can you expect a rating, Dakota? Great question. So the BDD should happen sometime close around when you exit, but time lags, etc. So it could happen around the time you exit, or it can even happen a few days forward after, or weeks forward. So I've seen ETS in January, claims get finalized in February or March. It's par for the course, but you'll be backdated to your exit date. I have a lawyer fighting for my denial. I don't even know how I was ever denied. And again, back to the thing I was just saying, the VA, again, not pissing on them. Sadly, there is an error rate. You know what I mean? That's just the facts. So this is not me talking crap. This is me showing you an OIG report from the VA where it shows that specifically 68% of the time, they had, inaccuracies in decisions. And I literally just also brought up that even for PACAT claims, to your own point, we have instances where they were doing things wrong about 45% of the time. You know what I'm saying? So these are the facts of things that are happening, not to shit on them. But again, you said you had a PACAT claim. I don't understand how it was denied. I'll tell you how. If all things are correct as they should be, then what is wrong? There are factual errors, administrative errors, and things that are going wrong in the system. That's just the facts, right? So it's not to sit here, and shit on something. It's just calling a spade a spade. Just got my 100% PNT, Charlie. And for those that are new to what I do, I will tell you this: I am very big on. I don't celebrate. I don't do the 100 club. I don't do the congratulations for winning a claim. Again, I've been in this space for many years. So my personal position. Again, I understand what's happening. I'm more of the I'm glad that your fight is over with the system. I don't do the congrats you're broken, right? I don't do the congrats you have diabetes or PTSD and you can't get it up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's a celebratory thing. Rather, it's the fact that we fight a system that seems so combative to us that we finally get the rating. It's almost like relief. Finally, I'm done. So I'm more of the celebrating a veteran finally getting heard and getting seen and properly compensated. That's, for me, what I always like to distinguish, because I don't necessarily go for the congrats, you got 100. I don't like that. To me, it's like, the fight is over. That makes sense to me. That's just little DP-isms. 3 CMP exam. I had 3 CMP exams. It was diagnosed while in service and 10 years of medical records. Scott. Okay. And what happened? Speed of decision? Nope. They should sue if they could. That's not how it works. Okay. I literally, Amanda, I don't know if you were the one that told me this, but I literally have used this example with somebody else. Amanda says the VA refuses to remove a diagnosis of testicular cancer from my chart. I've never been a man. I literally had a woman, it might have been you, Amanda, or somebody else, but I've literally had this come a few times where someone said they got denied for testicular cancer and they never filed for that. They were born a woman and they don't have testes. You know what I'm saying? I've literally, I'm not sure if that was used, whether it has mentioned that before, Amanda, but I literally have heard that very recently. And I'm telling you, you just can't make this up. You just cannot make this up. Okay. Yeah, but again, I've seen this happen many times. The examiner was about 90 and cut and pasted some other person's influence in my chart. It happens. Shout out to Amy. We got Army 20, Coast Guard's in the house, Navy's in the building, 1995 to 2003. Shout out to you, Scott. Amanda, it's funny when it's not you, but I've been fighting to get the appropriate rating for 11 years. And that's the part for me, right? Like, sometimes, my demeanor to these things are from the perspective of like, yes, it's okay, it's comical. Yeah, oh, ha, he got, denied in the future. He got denied. That's not funny, right? When you look at Amanda's situation, like, oh my, you got denied for testicular cancer, but you're a woman, 11 years fighting though, right? So I'm always looking at it from that perspective. Like, okay, those that are good to go, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Amanda. I'm talking to this other veteran. I'm talking to that person there who have lost hope, who are tired of fighting, right? Because sometimes we become real insensitive to what somebody else is going through. To Amanda's point, it's funny when it's not you, right? Like, that's just her truth, right? Like, when I see that immediately, I'm like, yeah, I understand. That's bullshit. That's why I react this way, because it's literally the facts of like, yeah, all jokes aside, that's just ridiculous. Come on now. 90 years old, you know what you're doing? Why are you even working? USAP Mortuary Affairs 07 to 2011, former federal Christian. What's up, my brother? How are you? Law enforcement as well. Salute to you. What agency were you with? Nemesis, 90% today. Okay. Astonished, embarrassed when they sent me for testing. That is crazy. They sent you for testing for this thing, and you walk in there like, what the heck is going on? All right, let's see. Again, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. For those that are not following on YouTube, we're on YouTube, same username, Veteran DP, in case TikTok goes away. So for those that don't know, I don't know what may happen here, but I'm making a point to go live, to pop in and just say, make sure you head on over there. Trying to get more intentional with that side of the house. This week, we are doing a few things. So if you're active duty and you're leaving service, get the BDD checklist. It's literally a free checklist with what to do as you get ready to leave service. Secondary for mental health, it's a freebie there. Go get that thing. And then we have a newsletter comes out every 2 weeks. So get that. I can't control social media, but I can control you getting our content. Quick reads, 5 minutes to the point. We had our class navigating vehicle claims yesterday, and next week we are doing our last Acer CMP for the year. We took everything down $20. So link in my bio has all that stuff there, to include our website. So you can literally peruse and see what we're all about. Click on the link, see what we're about, see what folks who we are, hit the about us, take a gander, take a look at the team and who we have, scroll down, see our backgrounds, who we are, yada, yada, yada. Got some old retired folks, we got some ex-VSOs, we got some old legal folks, and a slew of amazing people, and even nurses actually too. So all walks of life, all backgrounds, age, and demographics, a pool of folks that look just like y'all. So, you know, I like that, right? And that's just that's the way I liked my organization, right? For me, Veterans Network, VNCC, Champions Club, it's a network of veterans coming together. I like having this club feel, right? I like having this. That's why I show up the way I show up. I want to have conversations, you know, be able to get us together and have these kind of talks. And be able to create something that's a little bit different, right? It's more than a claim for me, so there's that part. Amy has been the best, exactly, Corey, you know what I mean? And she is the cat's pajamas. So, you know, and I just literally showed her in my little reel there, just showing the background. So yeah, check out the stuff that we got going on. But let's see. 100% my own, that shit was hard, but possible for sure. Yeah, my oldest veteran, he's 95 years old. File's first claim is 95. HLR, brand new claims, BDD, everything. That's nuts, bro. No pun intended. That was funny. 82nd Airborne, 20 years, filed for an increase because I discovered I had a herniated disc. Okay, how'd that go for you? 90% today, Nemesis, got it. Do you think privatization of VA is a thing? Not so much. It's going to be a process. So I don't think that will happen the way people may think, you know, when it comes to that. 80% trying to get to 100, that's very difficult. Depends on what you have, what you're rated for, so you have to assess that. So that's literally why I literally put out this this video earlier. This is like literally, because again, it was freaking hilarious. Like, this is literally me, you know, for all intents and purposes. When a veteran is like, how do I get to 100? That's literally me. Because it's like, I understand what you're asking, but it's literally like, I need more context, man. I don't know, right? What are you dealing with, right? You know, what are you rated for? What is the 80% you have? What is the 90% you have, right? Is there presumptives? Is there room for increases? What has been denied? We have to assess. We have to really have a conversation for more context. But sometimes, you know, veterans are just kind of like, what do I do, DP? I'm like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me some context here. You know, what are we working with, right? But this had me cracking up. I was literally rolling with this because that's literally what it feels like. I'm literally like, oh my goodness. Rolls down the steps as literally the questions come. Welcome to my page, because that's sometimes how it feels. But it gets the conversation going. That's the whole point too, right? Your percentage is difficult. You have to have, you know, a marked history of these things, specifically of those symptoms and so forth. I just had a conversation about GERD, so they've made that's a little more difficult with the new changes they put in place. Quality. Yes. Brian. Day 5, day coming. Currently 70, PTSD, medical disorder, except PTSD, insomnia. Okay. CMP, worried it might take away my 70% rating. Why would they take the 70% rating? If you meet the requirement for that, it doesn't work that easily. Let's see. I finally have social media. Appreciate you for jumping on in. Good to see you again. Colossal. Okay, catching up. Crazy, only 5.7 have tried to receive benefits. Yep. And again, people don't know what they don't know, right? For those that may have missed it, the 5.7 being the statistics of what we have, right? So these are our population of veterans: 18.3, 5.7 are rated in some shape, fashion, or form, and 1.3 are 100%. Annual year that kicks in. Using AI to decline claims, just like insurance agency. Yeah, AI is great until it doesn't work. BDD claim. Did I receive payments for my first month? Is that normal? You should get paid correctly, though. You can look into that. IBS, CMP, done in person. It can happen either or. So it really depends. It be telemedicine or in person. 90% have a TDIU claim pending. Any thoughts? Like a regular claim. You have a CMP, and you're going to have to speak to how your disabilities are making you unemployable. So it's very focused on how everything you have is factoring into your disabilities in some shape, fashion, or form. What about the character of discharge? And I have any mods that you see in the chat is part of my crew. So shout out to the folks that I have in the chat. So there's that there. Shameless plug to Brian. So like Corey said, Amy is the cat's pajamas. Boom, there you go. Brian in the chat. Boom, there you go. That man can go into legalese like nobody's business. Check his bio. He's pretty cool. And he's in the chat. It's not a combative system. Veterans need to be honest when claiming actual disabilities. Yeah, so you know what? It's not a combative. It's not supposed to be a combative system, but it does become a combative system. So that's my whole point. Like, I get what people are saying, but that's not the facts. When a veteran is filing a claim, rightfully so, and they find themselves being attacked and they find themselves at the short end of the stick. You know what I mean? So like, that's my problem when it comes to claims. I don't like to make generalizations because the reality is not when someone says the system is not combative because I never had that issue. I'm glad that you didn't have that issue. I'm telling you, a veteran literally got denied in the future for an exam that didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the facts. So it's almost like I understand, yes, the system is not supposed to be adversarial. A tie is supposed to go to the veteran, but it doesn't happen sometimes because the reality is the system gets it wrong. So I don't like assuming like, oh, the veteran did something wrong. No, because I literally just told you that the fact is the system got it wrong. Incorrectly processing PACT Act claims. Not shitting on the system, just calling a fact. Because the problem is that a veteran hears another veteran say, well, the system is not adversarial. You did something wrong. Just be honest. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was honest. I actually did everything correctly. I had this issue. I went and did the thing. I followed the directions. And this is what they came back with. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the problem. So it turns off the person to go seek help because they literally just say, you know what? That is me. I'm the problem. You are not the problem. It's the system. Let's stop romanticizing a federal agency. So that, I'm sorry, I disagree with. The system sometimes is combative. That's just the facts. I've been in this a long fucking time. I can have many instances of where this is the case. Nope. Again, do people have it good? Yes. But to generalize an agency and like, oh, they're not combative, they never fuck up. Yeah, then the DMV is always on time. Tired of fighting the VA. Everything gets turned down. That's your reality. Who am I to tell you, don't be tired of fighting the VA? We have to have empathy for our people who are fighting and trying and not dismissive because things didn't go for them the way it went for you. Navy's in the building, retiring 2025. Get the checklist as you get ready to leave service. That is on my link in bio. So go ahead and get that thing. Let's see. There's a whole conversation there. So I'm not going to be able to catch up with half of this stuff there. Commits a single sentence complaint at 100% AHCR. Yeah, to catch the shit. Yeah, so this is a good point here, right? And I literally, I appreciate you sharing this. So this is coming from someone who was in this world, right? I know VSRs and RVSRs, and this is the reality. When I say something like it's quantity, not quality, someone's like, oh, DP, you don't get that. Okay, well, here's another person who says that. The BVA cares about quantity, not quality. A VSR commits a single sentence complaint in a 100-page service treatment record, and RVSRs have to catch that shit. Her accuracy, this person's accuracy, was 97%, and they got put on the PIP for low numbers. I have someone that is close to me who worked in the VA as a VSR, turned down on being an RVSR. They were close to getting put on the PIP because their numbers were low. because she spent hours on a claim and they were like, you're spending too long on these claims. She was calling veterans, telling them what was wrong with their claims, and they were getting written up for that. But the system's not adversarial. It's the system. That's just the truth. Like, so we're saying that this doesn't happen. So tell us this person right here who got put on the PIP. She got put on a performance improvement plan, for those that don't know government talk. So she gets put on pretty much discipline for taking too long, because for her to have a 97% accuracy rate means she was fine-tooth combing through these claims. I love that for the veteran she was helping. But she's getting put on a performance improvement plan, AKA you are now on a government pseudo probation. Not that you're gonna get fired, but like they're pretty much starting like paperwork on you. It's disciplinary in nature. We have to improve you. A 97% accuracy rate of this person who, when you filed the claim, she was doing her fucking job. Performance improvement plan. You gotta do better. 97% accuracy. But we need more numbers. I ain't say it. Because when I say it, people get up in arms. I've had RVSRs unfollow me and block me because, oh no, you can't say that. That's not how it is. Come again? PIP. 97% accuracy rate and got put on a PIP. You can't make this shit up. But yet, she's here in YouTube, in the chat. Shout out to you. There you were yesterday when I was live and again answering questions. Like, this is what it's all about to me. I ain't got no ego. Look, we in here coming at from all angles. So she's in the chat. Someone asks a question. She's hitting them. Hey, do this, that, the third, right? Left the VBA and switched to VHA. Last case I ever worked was a claim that could have been denied, but they called the vet off the record. Listen to that. Via cell and convinced him to file an appeal. Need more people like this, but they don't stay in the system because the system is sadly broken and wrong. So that's why you have instances where things are happening incorrectly. It's just the facts. The PACT Act is great, but part of the PACT Act policy process was also to hire more people. But if you're training and you're pushing people and you're onboarding them so fast, this happens. I know someone who did this exact same thing. And they just left from the rating side and went to fiduciary. Same exact thing. Same exact thing. She had a high, literally, like side by side. I'd love to have you talk with her because literally identical, same situation. We love your work. You're so good and blah, blah, blah. But your numbers. What? Ladies and gentlemen, that's a person that was rating you. That's someone that we did to help do that thing. Listen to that. Off the record, called the veteran to say, hey, DP, file the appeal, man. You missed this part. Okay. Shh. Don't tell nobody. That's what's missing. But you can't keep good people like this if you don't take care of them. You don't keep good people like this if you're putting them on a PIP. Again, a performance improvement plan because X, Y, Z. It's just the facts, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Mrs. H, I'm just here to say thank you and this amazing team. You've helped me out big time. I appreciate all the advice you gave. It was head on. Man, look, that's what it's all about. That is what it is all about. You're welcome. Let's see. I got a lot from some of your previous videos during my claim process. Now that it's finalized, they denied me for everything but PTSD. 30% of all injuries from my driving career got denied. So, Sean, now it's time to look at, okay, what are they denying? How did you file that thing? And then posturing up for an appeal. When did that denial happen? In the meantime, I filed a clarification of opinion from his doctors, eventually got reassigned his case again, and he and his hearing officer, God was on his side. Man, listen. Man, listen. I don't care what you believe. To each their own. But this veteran, man, look. God takes care of babies and fools, and God took care of this one. Right? Like, these are the stories you don't hear. Like, I'll give people shit all day, but I'll give them both. I'll give flowers to where it's due. I said it from the beginning. We got amazing people in the system, but let us not sit here and romanticize an agency that put someone that did all this on a PIP. It's a government agency. Stop romanticizing it. Good people, fucked up system. Yeah. VA claims in and of themselves are simple, but the process is very complicated. You know, again, the CFR, it's, you know, some people, it's so mundane, and some people get so wrapped up in the CFR and 721-1, and they become SMEs, subject matter experts, on all things claims, but they don't know how to tell their truth. And what comes across as a veteran, it just sounds very coerced and very rehearsed and not talking to what truly they're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? So it's a complicated system as far as the process. So I always talk about these things in class here, but you have to apply yourself. You have to be in it. You have to own this. It's your fight. I'll be with you. I'll train with you. We'll be in the gym. But when it comes fight night, you're in the fight. You're in the ring. But I'll be in your corner. That's what you need. Appreciate you. Arrowhead in the building. Okay, appreciate you getting with Sean, so that's very helpful. Oh my goodness. You have got to be kidding me. Amanda, I don't know if you still out there, Amanda. Amanda just said on TikTok that she was denied for testicular cancer. And she said it's funny when it's not you who had to go through this, right? Well, look, Amanda, have a little chuckle at Mrs. H, because Mrs. H just found out apparently she had an amputated leg. like, you can't make this up. Sometimes you have to laugh to not cry. Like, I'm sorry. No one was more surprised than I. I did not have a leg. But you know what you talk about? You got two legs. Nah, the VA said I had no legs, and the VA told Corey in the future that he was denied. Like, you know, you can't make this up even if you wanted to. Oh my God. So she says, I had to go send off for my medical records to see what else is in there. You may have some testicles too. Who knows? Oh my God. Okay. You got Sean, so that's good to go. Please check your records. Please check your records at the VA. Doc had said I never got hurt. Again, it's that's the common theme. Review your records, read your denial letters, make sure that things are accurate, because there are inaccuracies. It's just the facts. When did that happen, Clausel? Let me catch up here. Let's see. RBSR has every chance to request clarification on medical opinions or request examination for every veteran in lieu of a denial. Sadly, too many shoot for them weekly numbers for over accuracy. It's easier to just get some numbers and close something out than move on. Working a claim, that just delays the process, hence the numbers. This is literally a thing. This is more behind the scenes conversation for those that know the process of what happens. But these are things that can be done, but they choose to not exercise said things. Horse's mouth. You know? And then they don't read the facts. They're not listed. You know? They don't want to read the doctor's findings. That was also highlighted here in this report, where they were not doing these different things. Sam, just knew I just had my ACE exam last week. I had a good nexus, saw 2 different personal providers who provided me great evidence for my claims. So, and Sam, what kind of really prompted me to, you know, popping in more often, you know, as I'm doing all this stuff here. But this is a message I got from a veteran who had an ACE exam too, right? He had an ACE exam and then got a denial dated that he had a physical exam in the future. Literally can't make this up. Let's see, let's catch up here. Army girl, medically retired. Took me 10 years to go from 30 to 100. Do not give up. Do not give up. Shout out to you, Miss Friend. And catching up. Deferred just means they're still working on it, so it's not done. Mark, what's going on, my brother? Let's see. TDIU, the question here at 90, if TDIU is an argument for total disability due to individual unemployability, that may be a course of action. Defer just means that they're just saying we're not done with this claim yet, so they'll push it off so they can make a decision on one and then postpone something else. Okay, let me pull this back up. Let's see, I've been denied for PTSD MST for the past 17 years, Alima. I would say, reach out, have a conversation. I literally was talking about one of my advisors on my crew as well. She's literally rated for MST herself. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes even getting perspective of somebody who's actually walked that walk and been through that themselves. So, I literally had a conversation today with someone who had an MST in the 90s, him and his wife. Talked to both of them this evening, and again, perspective, right? And how to push back on that. So when we're talking MST, sometimes they're reported, sometimes they're not reported, but we have markers, we have arguments to make, right? We have to sometimes kind of readjust, but I've seen many times where that could be the case, but now we have to look at, Lima, what was done and how to potentially, appeal and push back. No thoughts on the new administration. I think ranted on that already. So you may have heard me when it comes to potential changes. Production is key for the VA. Yep. My VSR was pushing me out the door. I was like, wait, don't I get an hour? Man, listen. Your reality. Amy's in the building. Corey was on Instagram. Amy's on TikTok. But he gave you a shout out. Let's see. If you have above 50%, is it true for life? 3-tier, make 3 tests. That came out weird. I gotta read that again. Let's see, how long? If you're at the BVA level, that can take some time. So that's gonna take some time there. Again, moderators I have in the chat are part of my team, so if they're answering, I'm kind of just jumping over. They're not all things mental health related. BA remove my lawyer from them representing me. What? That sounds weird. Just hit step 6. Talked to a vet last week that was denied for hysterectomy, and they're a male. So Amy talks to a veteran who had a hysterectomy and they were a male. Amanda just told us she was denied for testicular cancer. She was a woman. And Mrs. H over on YouTube literally just found out that she was missing a leg. This ain't the poo-poo on the VA hour, but man, the facts are the facts. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just 3 examples. She found out she's missing a leg. Amanda just told us that she was apparently missing testicles, even though she was never born with it. And Amy just talked to a veteran male type who had a hysterectomy. Technology, they said. It's good, they said. Okay, let's see. What if there are inaccuracies while you were in? Oh, so Alima, Amy's in the chat there, so I think I may have caught up there. You guys talked already. Vet denied. Med board for my back. Been fighting since. Have you anyone dealt with? Yeah, med board. Deal with them all the time. Got a bunch of them. Med boards, regular BDDs, etc. So that's that part. Let's see. You can probably appeal that on the loss of use. Okay. Anxiety alone, you can file yes, but how are you arguing it and to what are you connecting it to? My classes are not here, so you have to go to my link in my bio for my classes. I don't do classes on social media. So I know sometimes folks want me to answer certain things, but the fact of the matter is, when I teach a class, I'm going through, a whole process of something, right? So there's an agenda that I'm kind of going through, and I want to make sure we move through the content, and I'm teaching you something so it makes sense what we're doing. if I were to do that here, I'd have to go back every 5 minutes for somebody brand new asking the same question. So I can't do classes here. Plus, I can't say half the stuff I'm going to say in class anyway because community guidelines. So I'm talking disabilities. I'm talking very, personal things. I'm talking MST. I'm talking Sierra Echo, X-ray situation. So that's a class that happens in Zoom. So for the CMP class, that happens in Zoom, and the classes for like the navigating VA claims, all those things that I do class-wise for Wednesdays are always in Zoom. They didn't use my Nexus as a link initially. Leo, depends what is your 93 for, where you're at. Again, that goes back to that whole thing of where you're at and how do we go. Keep it going. How are you? Okay. Let's catch up over here. Dun 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 dun. If you don't get 100 off the bat, that's not something, like we have veterans sometimes, Sam, that may have to go back a few times. So it's not so much that it's hard, it's just making the argument to make the service connection. So it might take some time for some pretty quickly. Sometimes it may take a little time. So it really depends. Just got home from work. I'm very good. Very good, actually. Here, popping in live, I'm literally showcasing one of our veterans that reached out and told me he got denied in the future. He got denied on December 19, 2024 for something apparently when he was examined. So he was examined in the future apparently, but the exam was this week and it wasn't in person. Can't make it up. My thoughts on AI, literally AI right here. AI showing you that, the previous veteran had a missing leg, that this one got denied in the future. Like, technology is nice until it's not. I have a master's degree in digital forensics and cybersecurity. Trust me, I love when people are talking about AI. I've been using AI from Jump Street. Like, I understand these things, and I'll tell you, it's not sometimes what's packaged, right? So there are issues, there are deficiencies for sure. So it's going to take some time for that to be cleared out when it comes to these things. Let's see. Dun 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 dun. Where are we? Oops. Let me see. Where is? Let me see if this came back. Oop. Let me see. Let me see something. Let me see. That was weird. That was weird. Donde está? Let's try. Let's try this real quick. Okay. But yeah, oh wow, indeed. Tron, what's going on, my brother? I see you over there, Hollywood. I see you, Hollywood. I see you, Hollywood. How have you been, my brother? See you doing some pretty good things over there. I hope you're well. Let's see. Catching up here. Let me see if this will. Okay, that was odd. Yeah, that one doesn't want to play nice. So, alrighty. Get to some more questions and get ready to wrap. Let's see if it will do its thing. All right, Angel. Okay, got you there. Okay, recently. Okay, letter November 8. stating service connection will be severed due to me being approved under direct instead of aggravated. Now, is there a change to the rating though, right? Because they're saying they're severing the secondary to go direct. That's the question I would have as far as that's concerned. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Right. Yeah, because if they're saying they're severing it because of what, that's what I'm curious. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna start flat feet. Okay, let's answer that one. Alrighty, let's see who we have. TikTok crew, YouTube crew, awesome. Alrighty, we are going to let's see. Okay, flat feet. Carry, oh wow, yep, indeed, can't make it up. But again, for those that are watching, plan of action Wednesday is our Ace Your CMP class. So that's the plan of action there. Let's see. But that be should direct to service, ongoing cover. Yeah. Yes. Why did it do that? Because we're giving them too much of the rawness. That's all good. Alrighty, that puts us at an hour and a half. So I'm gonna start shutting it down and get ready to pop smoke. But those are the things that I wanted to touch on for sure. Look at me, I figured out how to get on via Instagram. Yeah, TikTok acted up, so I don't know. I guess, but I goes to show you TikTok be kind of acting funny when it comes to stuff. So it's always weird to me that they will filter things, not show me things, or God forbid I frickin' go off the rails and say something that is, whatever. They get real antsy and touchy about stuff. But you can, drop and, do all that other crazy stuff apparently, and thirst trap, etc. So you can't make up, how social media likes to act when it comes to certain things. But that is the scuttlebutt. Amy, you're on Instagram. On YouTube, I finally have my social media. It'd be interesting. Yeah, she was a RBSR. She got put on a PIP. I don't know if you saw that earlier or not. But she got put on a PIP for having too higher accuracy and not putting enough numbers in. So yeah, go figure that. So not sure we saw that or not, but I thought that was actually pretty interesting, which I'm sure that you might get a chuckle out of. Literally. Put on a PIP for low numbers, even though high accuracy. Facts of the matter. She's moved on and left that side of the house, but can't make it up even if you wanted to. Sounds very familiar. Very familiar. We'll leave that there. Let's see. If flat feed is service connected as direct, they're just fancily stating that the service connection is direct, not aggravated. Yeah, so I agree, as agreed, as far as that change there. So nothing that would, again, we have 30 direct, or whatever case may be. It just, it's, think of it more like like cosmetic in nature. It's not severing per se the actual rating itself. It's just how it's actually going. So that's the biggest thing to look at too, to make sure that there's no set changes on the rating side. But yeah, so Wednesday we are back with our class. I'll probably pop in tomorrow and kind of pick up from there. But I appreciate y'all hanging out for a little bit, and all of that good stuff. Yeah, this acted up and didn't want to play nice on this side, so who knows? Probably said something that upset the social media gods. But that was my biggest thing. If you get denied, please, please, please look at your denials. Be aware of what they're denying you for. What is the rationale? What are they saying? How are they saying it? All these different things. Because sadly, it just is what it is, right? It's just a jacked up system, and sometimes the system gets it wrong. So I look forward to seeing you all at our next classes and things that we are doing. Again, the link in my bio has that information, so definitely make a point to check those things out. Verse Yourself, jump on our newsletter that you see behind me. So all those things are there for you to be able to get that information. So get the last little comments and things that we have in place there. And let's see here. Flat fee directed service, bilateral plantar fasciitis, calluses, bilateral skin disease, bilateral pain, hem pain are all secondary. Yeah. So, and then the secondary conversation there for sure. So, yeah, again, appreciate y'all there. Ray of free jewelry, like that. So yeah, that part. But hopefully this was helpful, and we were able to answer some questions and do some good things. Reach out, check us out, check our website, sign up for a call, have a conversation with one of our advisors. They are the Cat's Pajamas. And I will be popping back in soon. All right, y'all. Have a great night. Appreciate y'all.